Welcome back to my channel. It's Louise here, and today we're going to have a look at some new products that are coming out tomorrow, July 1st from Stampin Up. So these are the July online exclusives, and I've just bought a small selection of product and we'll go through those today. I'll put this aside and get them out together. We will start with a Christmas collection. This is a stitched season. And I've already turned them over. So this is a quilted look, which I really quite like. These would make great borders, cards and your scrapbook layouts. And the reverse sides are these such great usable patterns. That's the real red. Then we've got our trees with a secret sea background. And this has just got little dots on it. This is really nice too. Like you could cut these along in this line, you know, makes it quite nice and simple for making patterns. And this one here is not Christmassy at all. Here's another one that you could cut up into squares and rectangles. A snowflake pattern, which could be just for winter. So I do like the traditional colours too. And our holly leaves. So along with these patterns, we have this stitched stocking dies. So I'll get this out so you can see the size of the stocking, because I think it's bigger than what it shows on the front. So if I take that off, you'll get a bit of an idea. I have small hands, but it's a decent size and would probably fit an A4, A2 card size. So you've got all these dies that you can cut up plain patterns, and they've got a stitched border around them too. A couple of border dies down here, and some holly leaves and some berries. So you can make your own patterns with these dies, or just cut these out and fill in your stocking. And the stamp set. So plenty of usable sentiments there. And those pieces in here that you've cut out, you could stamp these first and then cut them out. Okay, now along with this, so I did get the suite. We have these buttons. I'll take them out and see if you can see the glittery edges to them. I hope. See, there's glitter around the outside edge. Really sweet. And a stitched ribbon. I'll just see, That's all it's called, stitched ribbon, but it's in that. That looks like it's a cherry cobbler red. And it's 1/4 inch. And it's a satin type ribbon with the white thread through the centre. So onto some more Christmas. That's what I got mostly, this festive cheer. So I liked this because it had smaller sized ornaments, baubles, to what I had already in my stash, and this piece here. So we'll just open up these dies to have a look. So if I take this off, you can see the size. So of that die. And this piece here would be to go in there. So you've got 2 different shapes in the ornament toppers, bows, little holly, and these strips here, they would cut the strings, and it looks like it cuts about 4. 1, 2, 3. Might even cut 5. And then some stamps to go in there. Let me see what size some of that, especially this sending cheer. So that's quite a decent. It's bigger. No, that's slightly bigger, but that would still make a good size title. Okay, so that's that Christmas one, and then here's another one. Oh, really wanted, this is the first thing I wanted, poinsettias, and love the size of the sentiments. And look at all the different poinsettias and building them. That would go with this. Now, so you can see they're much bigger than on the front. So you can see how big that leaf is. So great for card making and your scrapbooking. Good sizes. Now this is a little extra special because it is, you can use this with the impressions plate. So this is the impressions plate. So you would cut it like you normally do, then run it back through your machine with this. You remove your clear plates and you put this in and run it through again, and it becomes puffy. It's like a hybrid embossing folder. Now, I didn't get the stamp set to go with this, but I just bought the die because it looked really quite interesting. So it's got no end here. So when you cut it, you'd be able to cut it again to get 12 inches long. So good for card making and scrapbooking. So it would cut out inside your piece of cardstock. Now we've got this textured ring 3D embossing folder, and it's a really nice 6x8 size, so really good for if you like to make large style cards. Now I've gone ahead and cut a piece out. I've used two-tone cardstock, so I thought I would just rub over this, because this is probably what I would do. I would either sand it or I would add some ink. Now you can add ink directly after, or you could add ink to your inside of your embossing folder before you run it through. So you could also, if you didn't want to use this large piece, you could cut circles out to use on your project. You could cut a few circles out at one time. So you'd cut the circles out first, then you would run it through your embossing folder. Now this one here is some borders. It's called Everyday Border Accents. So it's a not cardstock weight, it's a little heavier than cardstock weight. So this would punch out like that. So you've got that border there, and it's got stitching. You could stamp a border along there. You could add ink, blend ink onto it, or leave it as is. And it's got a little bit more on the other side, a little bit more of this distressed look to it, antique-y style type of look. So you see the difference there. And then if you turn it over, so that's really good. You know, they're not specifically, you don't have to use them one way. So I like these because they start out 12-inch, so if you're a memory keeper and scrapbooker, you can use them on your layouts, or if you've got cards, then you're going to get a couple on your cards. You could even get 3 if you're cutting 4-inch, so that you'd have 3 pieces to cut with. Now this one here is a specialty paper, and I'll get it out so that we can have a little bit of a look at the shine. So the background is a shimmery paper, and then it's got stripes of glitter. So it's shimmery there and then some glitter. So I'll just see if I can move it around, see if you can see. It is difficult to show these sorts of things on camera, but I think this will be a wonderful addition to our Christmas crafting. So there's 4 sheets that come in that pack. And then there's this, which I've already done a video on this last week, and this is Gingham Gallery. So I've chopped into it. So here we are. They're the patterns, the colours. So these are the in colours, the 5 in colours. And then when you turn it over, there's a smaller gingham, so it gives you some variety. Okay, now I've actually got some samples that I've made already. This is what I made in last week's video. So we've got our Barely Blush, and then I used the pine to cut the leaves. The hydrangea hue, and I've just used the ribbon, the hydrangea ribbon. I have heat embossed on vellum there and used the in-coloured butterflies. Now this is the Golden Glow, and this is from the Layered Florals, this piece, and this is the Phrases and Frames, and this is one of those dies. It's an Impressions die, and you can see how puffy, and I've used it on shimmer cardstock, which has come out in all the in colours. And there's the butterflies, and then there's some dots as well. And lastly, the Crisp Cantaloupe. Got a bit of the ribbon down there and the butterflies, and I've also heat embossed on the vellum and used the scalloped dies. So that's a small look at what is coming up tomorrow, July 1st, in the July online exclusives. There is lots of Halloween in there. In Australia, we don't tend to do a lot of Halloween, and I didn't grow up with it, so I don't tend to buy that. But there'll be a link to the website so that you can go and have a look at all the other goodies that are coming out on July 1st. Hope you've enjoyed this quick look at what's coming out in July. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.